Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Tonight we're going to talk about forage harvesting and what is a forage harvester. So for those of us in the States, it's kind of a different technology. We definitely have forage harvesters even in Ohio where I live, but they're semi few and far between. You don't see them very often, and their function is like, what do you need this for? Well, if you have a lot of animals on your farm here in the States, like especially cows, because cows need silage, and corn makes great silage because it has a high sugar content. A forage harvester is actually a pretty necessary part of your operation. Most guys don't have these big ones. In Ohio, what I see a lot of are harvesters, and we're going to go in here. Is it in this? I think it might be under foragers. There we go. This Pottinger X5. It's not quite like this. They're usually on a trailer format. They stick behind the tractor, and then they have a trailer that goes along behind that. And as they cut the corn down, this sprays back into the trailer. And then they take that and they make silage out of it. Usually, we don't see these big honking forage harvesters, but basically, the idea between a Krone forage harvester is not, or any brand, honestly, New Holland, Roslamash, Case, John Deere. It's not to make a crop. Like, you're not taking the corn and getting the corn kernels off the crop. You're actually doing what's called chaffing it, and you're basically taking the whole thing and chopping it up into little bits and dumping it into the back of a trailer, and then you're going to take it down to the cow farm and feed it to the cows. You're going to put it in a, and I'll show you this towards the end of the video. We put it into a bin, and then we run over it and compact it, and then we cover it, and then in the farm game the next day we have silage. In real life, it takes a couple months for it to ferment and make silage, but in this game it takes overnight. So, but that is essentially what a forage harvester does. Now, in Europe, they have what's called a biogas facility. A lot of places are starting to use this. In fact, New Holland is even making tractors now that run on biogas. So that they use a lot less regular gasoline, and they're basically you're growing the corn and you're powering your farm machinery with the byproducts of that that biomass. So this game does simulate silage sales, like making it into biogas. So if you look on the map, and I think I have to mark it. I think my map is set up wrong. So hang on, let me exclamation mark. Nope. There. Okay. If you see here where it says, if you look at the pigs, and I don't know if you can, I think you can see my mouse, but to the left of the pig farm is McLean Biogas Plant. So if you want to make silage and sell it for profit, you can do that there. Or if you want to take it down to the cows and feed it to your cows, you can do it where the cow symbol is. And there is a bunker for you to make silage at the cow farm. In fact, you can even see it here on the map. Those two white lines are in between. There is the bunker. Same thing with the biogas plant. You can actually see it on here. All these white lines are bunkers. And so you can fill those up with chopped up corn or mowed grass or mowed wheat, or even like windrowed grass. And, you can take that stuff, like using this, you can pick up windrowed grass with this. You used to be able to pick up straw in the last version of the game, but you can't do that anymore. Or if you want to just put grass in there, like if you mow the grass using, this is a mower, I can mow a big lawn with this thing, and it puts grass in the trailer. Now, one thing, when I first looked at these forage harvesters in this game, in the old version of the game, when you'd mow, it became chaff, but that's not the case anymore. If you mow grass with this guy, it actually stays grass, and then you take that grass and you dump it, but it still all ends up being silage in the end, so it doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and run a pass or two in the corn. These big X's require quite a bit of horsepower to chop that corn down. The corn is very dense. So let's go ahead and select the, oops, crap, hang on. All right, so I'm unfolding the harvester here. And I need to select the harvester itself, and we're going to turn it on, unload pipe, pipe out. There we go. So she's in configuration now to run. And this corn is ready to harvest now. I probably should open the trailer. That's going to be one thing. So I'm going to go ahead and select the trailer. And I just dialed the thing the wrong way. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Let's see. How do I open the trailer? Is that... Okay, discover. There we go. And so the guy will automatically control the pipe so that it goes into the trailer. So there we go. There's our Crone trailer. It is open. And we are going to go ahead and start this machine up now. So I need to select the machine, and we're going to turn it on. And there we go. Now the corn header is up and operational. This is somewhat prototypical. I don't think this harvester, honestly, in real life would be pulling this type of trailer. In fact, in general, when you see these forage harvesters operating prototypically in the field or operating the way that they do in real life, they usually just run these and then run a tractor alongside it, and the tractor collects the forage. But it's pretty rare that you see one pulling a trailer like this, but in this case we are pulling a trailer. And it is a matching Crone trailer, so maybe they do, like I said, I don't think, I've only seen maybe once or twice where a forage harvester is actually pulling a trailer and doing the foraging at the same time. Usually they have 2 or 3 tractors with trailers running alongside and getting filled up. So this is probably not prototypical, or realistic, or what they do in real life. But that's what we're doing in farm sim life. And unfortunately, because we're so close to the edge of the field, hello, I should probably have my hazards on, right? Now if they miss me, they're stupid. But you can see this thing just plows right through the corn, and we have a bunch of biomass in the back now, which is basically green chopped up corn. Now, you can actually harvest the corn in its last stage of growth. So when the corn is tall but green, you can go ahead and harvest it. Just so you know, you don't have to wait till the corn is brown to harvest it. You can get it in the 3rd stage of growth, or the 4th stage of growth, before it's ready to be harvested. So it'll still be green, but you can chop it down with this forage harvester. So once again, that is what these devices are really for. Now, the game has expanded on this a little bit, and I'll do this very last. We'll take a look. But you can also use the New Holland forage harvester, the FR850, to harvest poplar trees. It does not give you chaff. It gives you wood chips. But that is definitely an option if you want to do that. We'll take a look at that last before we go. But I want to just show you this operation. We'll try to fill this thing up almost all the way. And then I have a big grass field over here. We'll test out the mower so you can see the mower going. And we'll even test out the crop eater, which is also the mower. The other header in this game, I don't know or see a useful purpose to it. If you have the mower, you can just use that. They have a pickup unit, that little green thing that was for picking up, grass. I don't know why you would use that. I don't know why you just wouldn't use the mower. Maybe it chaffs it, though. We'll have to see. So we'll try it out. We'll do it just because we're cool. All right, so there's that. So you've seen how it does the corn. Let's go ahead and get a different header on. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab a mowing header. All right, so I've arrived at the cow farm. This is our bunker that I was telling you about. This is what the silage bunkers look like. They look the same at the biogas plant. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to line this up. And I'm going to dump this. You have to do a force dump. We're going to get in the bunker a little bit. Now, I used to tell people to use the levelers, but the levelers are a pain in the butt to use. Supposedly they fixed that a little bit, but I just do it like this. And people had given me tips when I did my silage tutorial. Once again, so here is the new way to do this. You basically just get the tractor going along at a nice slow speed, and you do a force dump, and you start dumping. And just try to keep the piles nice and even. Obviously, if there's more stuff in here, it's going to make a bigger pile. The next time I'll run parallel to it, and I'll just keep doing that over and over again until this is all filled up. Sometimes it gets hard to drive on, and you'll have to start compacting it, and you may still need to use a leveler, but it's much easier to do what I just did than try to dump it in one pile and then level the whole thing out. It just doesn't work well. So this is a better way to do it. And I thank you to all you guys who gave me that tip. This game, when I first did some of these tutorials, I'd only been playing it for a month or two. And there's just so much to this game that's different than Farm Sim 15. So anyway, I'm going to dump this here, and we're going to go ahead and hop into the... I prefer to use this. It's easier to handle these tractors. That's why I used it to dump it. It's hard to get the speed with this thing, but you can do it. It's not impossible, but I just prefer using the tractor. So it's my preference. My game. I can do it my way. You can do it however you want. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the Forage Harvester on. And in this case, you're going to see we're getting in the back of the trailer is no longer chaff. Now, in the old version of the game, 15, we used to get chaff. Now we get grass. So there is that. This is an X-disc disc bind mower. I think that this is probably a very easy way to do this. I don't know why you would want to mow first and then use the 4-up, but we'll take a look at that thing too, which is the last header attachment for these types of forage harvesters. All 3 brands of forage harvester that are included in the game have all 3 of these implements. They each have a disc bind, they each have a corn header, and they each have a crop picker upper, a pickup unit, I guess you'd call it. I'm not sure exactly what you call it, but I call them a pickup unit. And I know the Russian one is actually called the 4-up, like 4 picking up. It's silly, but that's what they call it. So now they're different sizes, obviously, because like the Russian Roslamach forage harvester is a pretty low horsepower unit. It's still like 400 horsepower, but for a foraging harvester that has to chop stuff up, you need a lot of horsepower. So we're almost up to 600 horsepower with this guy, and then the New Holland has 850. Now there is a modded version of this that has 1100 horsepower, and it is totally real. In fact, the only forage harvester that FarmSim gave us in version 15 was the 1100 horsepower version of this harvester. So they call this the Big X, but it's really the Little X. The Big X 1100 is a much larger unit than this. It's actually probably twice the size physically also. But we have this guy, and so anyway. So if you want to mow the lawn, this is one way to do it. You can collect the grass. You can actually, on a lot of the farms that are mod farms, store the grass as grass and keep it for your sheep. You could also feed this directly to sheep with this. You don't have to make it silage. You can, but you can't feed sheep chaff. So one of the nice things about this is it really can be just this, a giant mower. And this is great. So if you need a lot of grass for your sheep, this is one way to do it. Now the downside is it's not in bales; it's a big pile of grass. So you're going to have to get some sort of storage mod or a silo that accepts grass for storage. Now they do have a lot of them out there. I don't think there's any included with the game, but there are lots of mods that allow you to store grass in a barn. And sometimes they just make big storage facilities where you can just dump it and then shovel it to your sheep using a fork. So that is what it looks like when you mow. I mean, obviously, woohoo, big deal. But I wanted to show that to you and share it with you. So let's go ahead and dump this off, and we'll take a look at mowing the crops next, because this disc bind can also make chaff out of wheat, barley, canola, sunflower seeds. Though I think you have to use the corn header for sunflower. I will give you a word of caution, okay? The reason why you would use this on grass is because grass is free, okay? Wheat and barley and stuff cost you money to grow. It's probably not worth using a disc bind to chop them up into chaff. You're better off doing corn because you get a lot more volume from the corn. So I would not suggest doing what I'm about to do with this, but you can do it. It's not the best way to do it. So doesn't mean you don't have to. We need to select the trailer, and I'm going to start dumping out. Now look, it turns into chaff when I dump it. So if I put it here, it turns into chaff, but if I go feed this to my sheep, it'll remain grass. So we've now put some chaff into this. That's pretty cool. Let's go and take a look at the next item. I'll be right back. So here's the last thing that this type of forage harvester, or this type of header, the disc bind, can do. Now the first thing you really need to do is you need to get this into the crop, because if you start collecting grass by mistake, it's going to only allow you to collect grass, and you won't be able to do this. But you pull it all the way onto the field, and then you go ahead and start the thing up. And you can see here we're going to make chaff out of this crop. Oh, man. Maybe. Hey, you know what? It's not doing it anymore. Look at this. They changed that. That's new. Oh, no, that's not. I'm dumping it all over the field. I need to close my trailer. So hold on. I got to fix this. Close that. Now let's try this again. There we go. Oops. Already left the trailer open. So you can do it this way. You can see, look how slowly I'm collecting. Like I was getting more out of grass than I am out of this. This is just a complete waste of your crop. So don't do this. You can do it, but don't do it, okay? So I just wanted to prove that you could do it, but that's it. That's enough. Stop. Arthur, stop. Stop. I'm pressing the buttons and nothing's happening. I can't stop. No, no. I'm having a hard time selecting my harvester. What a mess. Okay, so that just proves that you can do it, but it's not worth doing. Don't do it. So, okay, I am going to put the next header on. We're going to dump this mower, the disc bind off. So once again, if you're going to use the X disc or any other of the disc bind headers, dude, you're way better off not wasting it on those kind of crops. Use it on grass. This thing is meant for mowing grass. That's what it's for. Mow grass with it. And I think you also get a little bit of a bonus on how much grass it collects over a regular mower. So, anywho, let's go ahead and get the next header. All right, so we have the third and final header type. This is the Easy Flow 300S. This is basically meant to pick up rows of crop off the ground and chop it up into bits and turn it into chaff, just like we did the corn. Now, in Farm Sim 15, you could collect straw, but... Oh, I need to unfold it. Come on. Oh. No. Stop selecting the trailer. There we go. So we need to start this guy up. And you'll see here, unfortunately for us, our pickup unit does not any longer grab straw. It just drives through it and does nothing. So you can no longer pick up straw with this Forage Harvester. That's a bummer. What are you going to do? So no more straw. So you have to use grass. Basically, the only thing this header can pick up is grass. And maybe hay, I think. Let's take a look in the menu. So if I go into the headers for the Forage Harvesters, you can see each brand has one. So you got one for New Holland, you got one for Krone, and one for Ros-Lamash. And it says, yeah, it picks up hay and it also picks up grass. So either one, they both give you the same yield. There's no reason to pick up hay because why on earth would you TED something that you're going to chop up? It doesn't make any sense. But what we do need to do is get a mower. I'll be right back. All right, we have the ultimate mowing setup. I know I've heard a lot of people say, nope, that's not real. And they're probably right, but this is how I'm doing it. Taking a bunch of grass and we're going to make a row for us to collect. Yeah, I kind of figure, you know, if you have a really big farm and you want to do grass, probably the reason why you'd buy that attachment, because I'm kind of like trying to figure out why on earth you would use that instead of just using the mower. But let's say I've got like a huge grass farm and I've got, you know, 4 tractors and 4 mowing setups for those tractors. I'm going to take 4 guys and I'm going to send them out and they're all going to mow. And then when they're done mowing and windrowing like this and you have this left behind, they're going to go take those tractors and get giant tippers like our tipper that we're pulling around with the harvester. We'll have 4 of those. And then I'm going to take my Krone and I'm going to collect these grass piles while those guys run alongside me collecting the grass. And I'm going to keep going and going and going. One guy comes up, I fill him up, he starts running back to the barn to dump it off. The next guy comes up and I fill him up and that guy's going to run back to dump it off at the barn. And we have a chain going of constant pickup. So I think that probably is the most efficient way to do this kind of thing, which would explain why you need an piece of equipment like that. Because let's face it, those Krone foragers are super expensive. I mean, you know, you're talking $500,000 for a setup. So, you know, if you're going to buy a tractor that's $200,000 with $100,000 of mowing equipment, you're still saving $200,000. So you're going to use that more, and you're going to use this just to pick it up. So that's probably why guys would do that as opposed to just running a mower. If you have one farmer and one unit, well, then you might mow with this. But in general, you're probably going to be running a big farm and having a bunch of people working for you. So they're going to do the mowing, and they're going to collect the stuff out of your trailers, you know, or they're going to, out of the back of the harvester. They're going to run the trailers while you're doing it. And if you look up the Grassmen on YouTube, you'll see them using forage harvesters like this. Honestly, if you just YouTube forage harvester, you'll see a bunch of different like real life operations of forage harvesters. So here we go. We're going to hop over this line, and all we do is drive along here, and you can see, I think it's going to make chaff if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Let's see, the back is, no, it must meet grass. Weird. Let's dump out the chaff that's in there. I hate to waste it, but we need to, just for the sake of the tutorial, I want to get this emptied out so we can actually collect stuff. God dang it. I keep doing that. I'm going to have to change that control on my settings. I usually don't jump from tractor to tractor. All right, so we've got this emptied out. It's got 0 particulates in it. And I have the change tool and the change tractor on the same, near each other, and it's just making me crazy. So this is working now. And I'm going to go ahead and start. There we go. So this actually collects grass. It does not make it chaff. Interesting. Okay, well, it is what it is. And then the nice thing, see how fast we move, though, when we're collecting this? We're moving faster than any of the other foraging methods. And I can just go into my cab and follow the line. So this is the 3rd header that we have for the forage harvesters, and really the last true foraging header. And then we just, once again, same as the other types of crop, we're just going to take this and dump it into the silo. Now, if you're feeding your sheep, once again, and they need grass, or if you want to make a pile of grass for the cows, because the cows also need just regular old grass, you can use, this to do that also. But you can also use that grass to make silage. Personally, I still think for the game's sake, using that disc bind is a more efficient way to do this. Instead of mowing, rowing, coming back, getting more stuff, dumping it all. I mean, you're just making one pass and getting it all. But for realism, or if you're doing multiplayer, then using this probably would be a little bit more realistic and a little more prototypical in what they're using. So anyway, that is the 3 headers for the standard usage of this forage harvester. Next up, we're going to take a look at one special header that comes with the New Holland. All right, so we're here with the FR850. Now, I did do a special video just about poplar harvesting, so if you want to see that, you can definitely watch how I planted these and got it all ready to harvest. But here we have this is a standard forage harvester. It has all the headers that the Big X had that we went through, and the roast Lamash. But it has this special header. I think this header works with all the forage harvesters, but you're really supposed to only use it with this one. Why? Because this FR850 has 850 horsepower, so grinding up trees is not so big of a deal. So let's go ahead and unfold this bad boy. Yep, pipe first. And I want to hire a worker. There we go. He's going to sit there until we're ready. I've never actually done a hired worker with a poplar field, but it should work the same as all the others. So I have my Deutz, the Deutz Fahr tractor, and we have a big, nice big tipper. The question is, do we get chaff? The answer is no. We're going to get wood chips from this, but it's a pretty expensive way to do wood chips. You might be better off just buying a chipper. But I want to show you, this is going to be more of a realistic type operation for a forage harvester, especially if they're cutting trees, because this is, look at how real that looks, like the spray like just disappearing into nowhere. But you're going to be, if you're pulling or you're cutting something this dense, you don't want it to have to have the load of pulling the trailer. But this is what they do in real life when they're forage harvesting. You have a tractor that follows alongside and unloads the harvester as it does its work. Look how fast they're gathering these chips. So, but that is one last thing that you can do with the forage harvester. Last but not least, we're going to go over making the silage and selling it. If you look at my silage video, that really goes in depth more about that type of operation, but we'll take a real quick look here. All right, so what do we do with the silage? Well, you can't feed the cows the chaff. It has to ferment. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your little menu up here, and you can see it's 16%. As I drive over it, we've only got a little teeny bit of chaff here. I don't even know that we're going to be able to close this, but we drive over this until it reaches 100%, okay? And you really want to fill this bin up as much as possible, but I got a new gas pedal. I really have to stand on it. Doesn't it's hard to go backwards. I'm almost better off just turning around. When this reaches 100% compaction, we can then take this stuff and cover it, and it'll start fermenting. It'll ferment overnight, and then we can just feed it to our cows, or if we want to use it in our mixed ration, we can use it in mixed ration. If you've got it at the biogas plant, you can use a scooper to scoop it into the biogas facility. There's all kinds of different things you can do with it, but when you're doing it here, you're probably doing it for your cows. Oh, frick. I said some bad words. Okay, so we're going to continue doing this. 81%, 85%. We're almost done. 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. I graduated in 92. Before the turn of the century for you youngins. It's such a weird thing. And then 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and whoops, 100. And like I said, I don't know if we have enough in here to cover it. We may not. But what's going to happen here? Let's hop out, get the tractor off. Can we blanket the silo? Nope. Yes, we can. R blankets the silo. So there we go. The silo is now blanketed, and this stuff is fermenting. You can see there on my little menu up to the left there, it says that the fermenting is at 1%. So if I wait overnight, and we're going to do that, you can see it going up to 90, and it is 100%. It is now done fermenting. It's not even the next day. We need to get a front loader, so I'll be right back. All right, so we have our little ditch digger. This is the little Kramer, smallest shoveler you can buy, aside from maybe the JCB. And we're going to start trying to unload this. I don't know. It might not do it. So once maybe we have to wait a little bit longer. It might not be totally fermented. Yeah, it's not ready. So we're going to hop out. We're going to make it time fast forward just a hair more. It might say like ready. Oh, open silo. Sorry. There. So it opens it. And then from that point forward, we can go here, get back in here and do our thing. So we're going to get along here. And as you can see, as you run the shovel over it, it opens the covering. I'm going to go here and do more. And we can, maybe I have to do that here too. I don't know. We have to open it from the other end. But anyway, we get our silage out. I've never done it before. I've had a split in it before. I've always had them like be continuous. So when you press R, it does the whole thing. But we got a shovel full. So you're going to take this silage and you can either, dump it into a mixer where you're making cow food, or you can use this silage to put into the burning unit at the BGA, or you can just dump it right into the cow food. If you have cows, they'll eat silage. They will eat it. They need to have it mixed with other stuff. But you can feed, if you don't have the other stuff yet, like straw and hay to feed them, you can still just feed them silage, and you'll get some profit from the cows. At least they have some food, maybe like a 60% profit or 50%. So that pretty much covers what the Forage Harvester does in game. It's meant really for feeding your cows and or selling silage at the biogas plant, and you can make some good money at the biogas plant. It's not nearly as overpowered as it was in Farm Sim 15, but you can still make money doing it. So these are good money makers, and it's a good way to especially if you want to grow corn, you're going to make a lot of silage if you're growing corn. So you can use it not only to feed your cows, but also to sell. And that is what the point of these forage harvesters are. The one that I didn't really look at was the small one. This Pottinger, it's a pain in the butt to use. It only covers 2 rows. But if you're getting started in the animal feed and you don't have, $275,000 plus, because you're going to have to buy a header and you're going to have to buy the trailer, so let's say $350, you're almost better off just starting with that MEX 5 and a big tractor. But this thing, I will tell you this, it says it's got a 150 horsepower requirement. You need like a 250 horsepower tractor or bigger to operate this. If you have a 150 horsepower tractor, this thing's going to flip it over. I mean, this is a monster harvester. So, but it's still really small compared to these big guys, but it's there to get started if you need to make it. I hate using this thing though. I'll tell you, the MEX is like a chore to use, but whatever. If you can't afford these, it's a good start. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys understand what forage harvesting is, what you're going to use this piece of equipment for in the farm sim. It's one of those that, you don't really need until later in the game when you have animals or you decide that you want to go to the biogas plant and start making money. It's definitely not something that you need to make the game operate at the beginning. But as you get further into the game and really start getting to the place where you need to generate a lot of silage, that's when this becomes a very smart thing. Also, like, let's say a map like Old Streams that has a ton of free grass. Like a lot of these maps, you have to grow the grass yourself. But if you have a map where there's all kinds of open grass that's available to everybody, that's a good time to buy one of these, because then you can use it to collect that free grass with the mower and, you know, make a profit of it at the biogas plant. So anyway, I hope this video helped you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below in the comment section. Thumbs up always help. If you want to donate to support the channel, I get a lot of donations in, and we use that to buy hardware, to upgrade software, stuff like that, and to keep up with the latest packs when they come out. You can always donate to my channel, and the link will be in the description. Thanks again, guys. I so appreciate you being part of this channel. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. And like I said, if you're new to the farm sim and you have any questions about the forage harvesters, I and my community would be glad to answer those questions. So we'll try the best we can to help you figure out how to use the different pieces of equipment in the Farm Simulator 17. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys next time.